I remember someone early on in my career saying, you shouldn't wear black so much, it's really off-putting. Make sure you wear pink for your interviews. Make sure you wear pastel colors. Do not raise your voice. Your voice is really deep. So can you speak in a higher pitch when you give your interview? I really hit a wall very hard around 2016. I was miserable inside. And it sounds like a boo-hoo me victim. No, I was miserable and I was like, enough. Dad is just like, I'm doing everything. So they were like, to uski beti aise hi karegi. I mean it when I say Salaar has been much more than a movie for me. I know the toll it takes on someone like Prabhas, who's like fronting it. I know the toll it takes on the technicians and the crew, because it's huge.
Shruti Haasan, welcome to Spill the Tea.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for having me home.
You know, you match my decor more than I match my decor. Your outfit is like perfect. Like, you keep this.
But then how is this your decor?
It's one part of my personality. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was saying thank you for having me home because I've sort of realized that it's one of your favorite places to do interviews as well. You're very welcoming of...
I love having people home. And I also share so much of my home on Instagram. A lot of people have opinions. They think I purposely not painted my wall. Yeah, paise khatam
Ran out of money.
Yeah, exactly. But I love having people at home and I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you. And you also have a single that's just out, Monster Machine. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
You posted on Instagram that it's taken years, but the monster's finally free.
Yes.
What took her so long?
I don't know, actually. Maybe conditioning. Conditioning we put on ourselves.
And we all fighting it every day.
So it's conditioning, you know, we hear, I always say, we take on these opinions we were never meant to hear. You know, men, women, everyone. And then it kind of becomes a part of you. And then I was always like, why are you being so weird? Why are you being... So you're like, oh, okay. I want my job. I want to keep my job in this place where I should belong in a certain way. Mistake. So now it's out and I'm really enjoying everything I'm doing in movies, in music, and everything.
Yeah.
So the monster wasn't so bad after all.
What's the aspect of freedom that you've had to fight the most for? What aspect of your freedom?
Expression. Freedom of expression, of opinion in the way that I feel I want to articulate it, that I feel I want to put it across. I was very worried about it and it took me a while to get to the place of saying, no, but this is how I feel. It's not in offense, standing in offense against someone or something. This is who I am. But it took me a while to get that. Freedom of expression sounds quite basic, but...
It does sound basic.
Yeah, but I wasn't... Yeah.
Well, you repeatedly talked about how much you enjoy being different from the crowd.
Yes.
And then you walk into an industry where it's almost celebrated to be a cookie cutter. We almost have actresses ending up looking like clones of each other when it comes to the styling, when it comes to what you're expected to say. How did you navigate that space?
I think we're all a product of our times, whatever those times are. You know, like, I remember I was watching these documentaries on older actresses in Hollywood and how they used to do electrolysis to increase their hairline, and all the girls were like basically shaving the front of their heads, right? With chemicals. So I was like, that's so weird. But we have those things now as well. And you know, whether it's Instagram or whether it's how you're supposed to be styled, all of that, it's still there. How much you fight for against it, what do you want, how much of the times do you want to take on yourself, that's always going to be there. Like, it's there in Hollywood, it's there here. I felt when I first came in, because I'm trained as a musician, because in music, being a misfit is a badge of honor. Because in being a musician, being distinctive and different is your currency. I thought it was going to be like that. Also because I saw my parents and they kind of made it their currency.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what all goes behind it. And when I came in, it wasn't even cookie cutter, it was a factory line. It was something I didn't understand. and I was still finding my vocabulary as an actor. I was finding my language as a woman. So many things were happening at the same time for me. So I remember someone early on in my career saying, you shouldn't wear black so much, it's really off-putting. Make sure you wear pink for your interviews. Make sure you wear pastel colors. Do not raise your voice is really deep. So can you speak in a higher pitch when you give your interviews?
No, Shruti.
Yes, all of this was there. It's there and it's very like underneath.
You really paid heed, I can say.
Yeah, clearly. But it's okay, it was a part of the process. Then I was like, Ari, but I'm supposed to act as these people. Who I am, who she is, he is, none of us as actors need to be that off screen. The other thing I realized is a lot of what we see is not the truth at all about people, their images, the perfect husband, the perfect girl, the perfect... And I'm not judging, but I was just like, whoa. Like for me, the disconnect was really
Stark.
huge. It was huge. But what kept me here and excited was I loved being in movies.
Yeah.
I didn't love all the people I met, but the idea of those magic moments of a circle of artistic trust that's created. I was like, oh, I'm a storyteller. I love telling the story through a character, and when I get the chance, like in a 3 or a D-Day or a Srimantru, like I really enjoyed it. And the rest of the time it was my job, you know. But when I had those moments of, oh, this is why I do it. That's what's kept me here. It's not the fame or the limelight, because I knew that from childhood, it tastes of nothing and does nothing eventually, you know.
What do you mean?
I feel like my parents, I grew up in a famous home, and I just knew that...
there are perks, of course.
There are perks, like cutting the line at the airport and stuff, but like,
And as far as it gets you.
we get the opportunity to live a luxurious life, so to speak, in the basking of the light. But it's not anybody's job, the flip side of the coin, anyone, a doctor, an engineer, an actor, the flip side is never fun. On this side, the flip side is, it's not bad, it's just that fame is not real. This image is not real. The more you stay true to who you are, the more you will enjoy art, and therefore others will enjoy it. That's basically what I've assessed.
Yeah. Well, that passion with which you speak about the magic of the movies is amazing, which is also why my heart kind of sank when I heard you talk about a very interesting analogy of how an Indian actress, you equated her to a carrot that was put through the grinder, and you have to rebuild from the fiber that's left behind.
I have many analogies for us. Milk carton, carrot.
That's heartbreaking.
No, it is. And I do feel that there are women who really lead in the forefront. I said this the last time we spoke as well. It's also now for me to choose my battle. They're different to the women in cinema who are doing other kinds of battles which we need, and I'm so thankful.
Yeah, we spoke about Priyanka Chopra and pay parity, I remember, when we were at Cannes.
Or like what Vidya Balan Akka has achieved. Like, I thought she was iconic for how she did what she did. It's much more than just acting. It's opening doors for other women, which was so important. Tabu ma'am. All of these people are heroes, you know. Kareena Kapoor in her own way, you know, how she's just had a freedom of doing things. So all of these women I see and I say, wow, okay, lessons. But I also see that's not me. That's not my journey. So I'm making my own journey. Monster Machine is a part of that journey. Being allowed to express myself the way I want, allowing myself to do it.
And there's a lot of you in there.
Yes.
There's also the Tamil, there's also the goth vibe, there's also just the sensuality. That's very you, right?
I'm very Tamil at heart. And now, actually, I really want to bring this up. There was a time in which it was like, हाँ, लेकिन South का, लेकिन यहाँ का, वहाँ का, इधर का, उधर का was going on a lot. Now with these films all becoming pan-Indian and no one making a bad remake, vice versa, across the board. Everyone's just able to make their movie. That's kind of it been erased. Yeah. And I used to get a lot of flack for like, why do you focus on the South only? I mean, are you silly? The door open, stay here. I just followed the rules. I followed opportunity. Whether it's you or me, you'll go to the place where you are showcased and valued.
Valued.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I was talking to Aditi Rao Haidari, and she was actually talking to me about how oftentimes as an industry we try to box our artists. Like, she was a dancer and also an actor and also could sing. But it was almost like she was told, pick a lane, babe. We don't know what to make of you if you are good at everything.
I don't think I face that much because of whose daughter I am. Dad is just like Dasavataram doing everything. So they were like, हाँ तो उसकी बेटी ऐसे ही करेगी, गाएगी, ये करेगी वो. So that was not.
You didn't have to navigate that
No,
space.
but it was sing Kannaraga from 3 in the sweet voice. Don't do Monster Machine. This much and no further. So if you're doing music, sing in Indian. Why are you singing in English? So my thing has always been, I sing in English for my own stuff because I write in English. I am the product of a lot of us are. I speak Tamil, Telugu, Hindi.
Yeah.
These 3 languages I'm, comfortable in. I can sing, do dialogues, but these are written by other people, right? The lyrics and the dialogue is written by the dialogue writer, the lyricist. Here when Shruti is speaking, it comes out in English because I went to an English medium school. This is the music I grew up listening to. So these things were always, and then there's a little bit of Tamil because it came naturally.
And it sounds amazing.
Thank you. Like in Tamil I'm asking like, do you get it now?
I get it.
And to say, do you get it now in English wasn't as nice like, Yenna ipo purida, And then there are some songs, like there's another song I have called In Between Place where I was like, I want something rich in vocabulary, but I can hear it in Hindi. So I called my friend Niranjan Iyengar and I said, this is what the song is about, can you give me a bit to put in there? And he did, and it felt organic, but I can't force it so that I am United Colors of India. You know what I mean? Like we are a product of very many things, and I like representing that sliver. Yeah.
Yeah. You've also talked about how when you're, for instance, abroad being an independent musician, you're carrying your musical gear and you're catching the nearest subway and bleeding for your art and feeling like an artist.
I mean, if I have shoe bites, it bleeds, yeah, but other than that, it's pretty good.
But cut to here in India, of course you have an entourage that does a lot of your things and you're getting papped for mundane stuff from time to time. I'm not sure where my question is exactly, but does it ever get confusing as an artist?
No. It'll always be a struggle as an independent musician, and we know that from day one. It's a gamble, especially being an English independent musician in India. From day one, you're like, oh, 10 rupees, okay, be happy. Because we know, financially speaking, compared to what I get paid to open a store versus what I get paid with my band to perform, it's never. Film music, separate. Playback, separate. I'm saying the independent musician, the artist, never reaches where the movie star does in this space, in English, at least, yeah.
But then how does being a singer enable you as an actor? Does it?
So it's really funny because I always, in the beginning I used to make these playlists, I used to be like, I'm going to write a character. This was like being geeky, because when you're trying to find your way in something, you forget you should follow instinct and you make timetables and charts and ways to get there. I could never really find this leaking into this much. But what I've realized as a musician over the years is that all of cinema and acting has greatly influenced my music. It has made me a better songwriter because I've become a better narrator. From reading scripts, from playing parts, from seeing how you put the thing together, I'm able to visually see my songs and therefore take them. Because Shruti is many things, and I honor those many Shrutis in the songs. That's another thing I learned from movies. So really, it's the other way around. It's not the music that has influenced the acting so much, weirdly. It's the other way around.
How amazing. You know, I love Ratna Pathak Shah. I just feel
I love
like
her too.
She doesn't mince words.
Yeah.
And every time I post like a little snippet from my interview with her, it's gone viral.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of trolling attached to that. I wanted to ask you, and I've often wanted to ask this, what is our issue?
I don't think Ratna ji cares. She's amazing.
She's badass like that.
Yeah.
But what is our issue with a woman that has an opinion? And have you been asked to sort of just curb yours?
Yeah. The funniest thing, okay, so my mum tells me this thing the other day. So I'm a very soft and sensitive person. I know I don't particularly look it, but I can cry like this.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm like, very sensitive with the people around me. But because of kind of being a loner or a lone wolf, especially because in the business I was like, I'm not going to call mom and dad. I'm not going to call them. I'm going to handle this. I developed like a exterior that doesn't really match my interior. Do you know what I mean? And with that came this voice that I've been gifted with, which is obnoxiously loud and bossy in tonality, right? So I was telling my mom the other day, something really weird happened recently, and then my team was like, we know you, you're a sweetheart, it's your voice, it's the way you say things. And I was like, what is it? So my mom said, if you were a guy and you had this voice, they'd say, इतना assertive है, इतना clear है वो बंदा, उसको पता है क्या चाहिए और वो सबको इतने प्यार से lead करता है. वही आवाज, the same tonality, sarcasm, these kind of qualities, it's like, ugh, unbecoming, you know. So I've not been able to change it, and for those who love me, love me. For those who think I'm rude, they do. But these small things, even just the throw of your voice, or I can be quite potty mouthed with my friends, and I'll just be like, F this, F that, with friends. I don't like to, as my dad says, do you not have a good enough vocabulary that you resort to cuss words, but I feel that as well is not a female trait. So these small things.
It's also freedom of expression, like you said at the start. I mean,
but speaking of Ratna ji, but Nasir sir also says, and he also gets it. So I guess now everyone has an opinion on everything. So it's, if you want to say it, you say it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I personally don't go out of my way to offend anybody. Because I think we don't need that. But if something's offensive to me, then God save you.
And you'll say it.
I'll say it. Yeah.
You have Salaar coming up.
Yes.
Big movie.
Yes.
What are you hoping it does for you?
I hope it does well overall for all of us.
Sure.
Really, I mean that. What I have to get from the movie, I feel I've already got. Like, I had a wonderful work experience. My co-star is wonderful. My director is wonderful. They were really good men to work with. Very genuinely progressive, not the upar.
They didn't need the masala on the cob that we talked about the last time.
No, not a bit. Like, really not. They've been wonderful. Another thing I got out of Salaar, which was amazing, is, so when we were putting together Monster Machine, it's the production house me and Shantanu Hazarika run together called Black. And we had this conceptualizing of how do we want it to look, how do we want it to, how should it come together. And I just always I have this tonality I like in films I see and things that I gravitate towards, which is darker, grittier. And Bhuvan sir, being the DOP of KGF Salaar, it was already my aesthetic. So I was already so happy to be in a film where it's not like pretty, let your lash be there. Like, it was just like, we were all like,
in the
so
grime.
we were there. And I spoke to him and he agreed to shoot the video. And then as it progressed, Prashant sir was like, use the part of the set that we're not using.
Oh, wow.
And the art director of the music video is the art director of Salaar. So when Dwara, that's the director, Dwarakesh and I sat to put this together and all of these things were in place, we were just like, how lucky are we?
That is amazing.
Because these are really talented people.
And that's what collaboration is.
Yes, and I've never really had that cross-border into music, and because it's always been, how nice, you're doing something different, best of luck beta. And it's like, here they were like, come, let us be a part of it, how can we help? Especially Bhuvan sir. So that was, the video looks the way it does because of him and the collaboration between our director Dwarakesh, who, again, for me as an artist, it was so important to have a director who's like, I got it. Because that's half the battle, like how I feel, what I'm saying, it was just not there. It was so beautiful. It was really amazing. So I mean it when I say Salaar has been much more than a movie for me.
That's amazing.
It's like a family I found. Everyone worked really, really hard. Yes, it's a big action film. What I know the toll it takes on someone like Prabhas, who's like fronting it. I know the toll it takes on the technicians and the crew, because it's huge. And the pressure is high, and the physicality of working on a film like this for 2 years, 2.5 years.
Do you feel the toll?
No.
Do you take the toll?
I didn't have to do any action, so. a bit dusty, but apart from that, I'm fine.
And finally, before I let you go, if you're comfortable talking about it, what do you do for your mental health? And how did you get to the point of dropping the pretense and being okay to address it?
I really hit a wall very hard around 2016, I would say, where I did not, as they say, you don't know your head from your elbow. I was literally in that space. But outside, films were doing well. People liked how I was looking, what I was doing, what I was saying, and I was miserable inside. And it sounds like a boo-hoo me victim. No, I was miserable and I was like, enough. What is the point of life if I'm not happy every day, just a little bit more, one day at a time? So I decided to take a full stop. I didn't have the same team, so I kind of removed that team that was enablers to unhealthy, toxic patterns. Decided to go to London, got a flat, a piano, and a mattress, and decided to get sober, because another thing people don't talk about in our culture is like how easy it is. Birthday party, have a drink. You love failure, have a drink. You know, everything is have a drink. So I was like, I want to remove anything from my life that was one thing that was a crutch for me. And then got into therapy 3 times a week. And man, like the stuff that opened up after that was a lot of navigating. And that's where I met my monster. And that's what the song is really about. It's about going inside, stuff we put in the basement. ये cushion नहीं चाहिए, basement में डाल दो. ये नहीं चाहिए, वो store room में लगा दो उसको. Carpet के नीचे. So my basement was so full of this negativity and all of that. So I needed to address that. And I found a monster and I said, okay, do I face it? Then I faced it. Then I played with it and now I celebrate it. Because to me, healing was through darkness. Healing was through addressing those things of myself. And once you face your own monsters, the monsters outside are nothing. The biggest one will always be inside of you. So that's really where the break happened for me. And it's a consistent discipline. To be a monster is a discipline. That's why it's Monster Machine. To be that is a discipline. So to accept these parts of myself, nurture it every day, do my gratitude, do my self-assessment is a discipline that never, ever, ever ends. So I greatly benefited from therapy. For other people, it might be something else.
Thank you for talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not some brave thing. Like, I just don't know how else it would make sense. Like, people have seminars about bogus shit. Like, why wouldn't you talk about this? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a huge, and I think post-pandemic, a lot of people have realized the awareness of it for themselves, for what their kids are going through. Because trust me, all this stuff, if you've ever been in therapy, it's stuff that happened to you when you were 6
100%.
and 8 years old. And that child gets ignored in us, all of us. So I really felt the greatest benefit of therapy and addressing my mental health. And I'm very lucky. I have a channel in music that I get to control, to use as a language and vocabulary of those feelings.
I met my monster when I had my kid, because that was my channel to control.
Right.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your
voice. Your
kid
is very cute. By the way, her kid is so cute. So cute.
Thank you.
With this little camera bag. I remember.
You remember?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your voice and everything that you are and hope to be. Really, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shruti Haasan and I was on Spill the Tea with Sneha. If you liked our chat, then subscribe. Like, do it right now.